Hi everyone, and I guess Happy New Year too. It's been a short while since we last talked. I wanted to chat with you about Dirty Bomb, where it's been in the last 12 months, and where I think it should be going in 2017. I think it's fair to say that 2016 was something of a lean year in terms of Dirty Bomb content. In many ways, this feeling was rooted in what actually happened at the end of 2015. Thunder landed in November of 2015, shortly followed by the Containment War and the What the Dickens event, all squeezed in at the end of the year. When 2016 actually arrived, we had a series of fine-tuning updates, but no real content added. In fact, we had to wait until the start of April, 4-ish months since Thunder landed, to hear the French accent of Amy arrive in the streets of London. That's a wait of around a third of a year. Execution got some love with the classy art hole update at the start of July, but the core modes of Objective and Stopwatch didn't really have anything new to shout about. The rest of the year saw the summer squash bug updates, followed by the recent Mofo optimization release. Important work for sure, but it doesn't satiate like actual new content. That leaves us with the Winter's Meme event for the end of last year, some trinkets to unlock by playing matches. So this recap brings me to the first of my requests for Dirty Bomb in 2017. Actual new content. We need new maps, mercs and other cosmetic options for this game to flourish and become the popular title it deserves to be. The core game is good, we know that. We just need to build on what I hope, with all the optimization and bug squashing updates, is a more solid core which is more accessible to all. The casual matchmaking and competitive modes are certainly needed too, but I'd like to see proper incentives to participate in the extra queue time and stress of ranked mode. We all know that DB levels have no intrinsic value, so let's say that there should be a permanent 200% XP gain in comp mode. In addition, I'm proposing a new type of case, the Covert Operation and Clandestine Knowledge, or Covert Ops case for short. This should only be available playing competitive mode, and include loadout cards with a unique dark, total badass camouflage pattern. These are cases won in the highest stress areas of Merc operations. People should see them and know that you've been in the proverbial trenches. As for maps, well, we were told about Dockyard a while ago. It's been out for testing and we've seen the substantial changes the final section has received. But this was all months ago. It's time for a brand new Objective and Stopwatch map and to talk about plans for other maps in the future. For Mercs, well, 2016 had one new addition, Amy. Clearly the rate at which Mercs were originally introduced can't be sustained, but there's definitely some middle ground here. With all the talk of Turtle and people demanding to know when he'll be released, I'd really like for an as yet unknown Merc to be introduced. As far as I know, Splash Damage has never actually said that Turtle is coming next. I'd also like to see a more comprehensive cosmetic scheme to be added to DB this year. I know many have talked about the loadout card system being a problem, but as many people have spent their hard-earned cash on attaining these cards, it's fair to guess that the loadout card system is here to stay. But what about a paint bucket system, to apply a permanent camo change to an existing card? Maybe they'd only be purchasable via real money. Free-to-play players could try and get card drops like normal events. Or what about trinkets that cause cosmetic changes too? We've already seen them affect the kill feed. What other things could they do? Change Merc camo clothing, or maybe even give them a camouflage face paint? There are so many other avenues DB could take to add layers of interest to the current loadout cosmetic system. And this leads me on to request number 2 for Dirty Bomb in 2017. Consistency. I know that sounds a bit odd, but let me explain what I mean. In 2016 we had inconsistent levels of content. There are things like the winter event, which were smaller than the preceding year, and to their credit, SD does acknowledge that during a recent dev video. And other calendar dates like Halloween or even Valentine's Day slid by without comment. For players to see the game is in good health and that there's active development, then expectations need to be managed and met. Apologising about things taking longer than expected only partially fixes that damage. People need to be reassured that there's something exciting on the horizon for them to be excited about playing now. But let me say that at no time do I subscribe to the lazy developer accusation that is often bandied around online. Of all the devs I've talked to, from any company, None has been apathetic towards the experience of their users. What there is, however, is the reality of time, budget, and resources. We all know that Splash Damage works on multiple titles at once. They recently worked on a multiplayer portion of the AAA title Gears of War 4, so Dirty Bomb isn't their only active title. What I'd like to see for DB in 2017 is the resources to ensure consistency across the rate at which content is delivered. So when things take longer than expected, for there to be the ability to react to that, for extra resources to be made available so that users aren't impacted. And so I come to my third and final request for DB in 2017. It's become a thing you perhaps see in Twitch chat or on Reddit. It's a nagging accusation that's hard to refute even if you're a fan of the game. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that in 2017, Dirty Bomb should actually release. I thought about this properly when there was a big hoopla about the recent Ark DLC. Basically, people were angry about paid DLC for a title that was still in beta. It's not difficult to understand why. It may be considered Dirty Bomb's place in the world. Core features like casual matchmaking and competitive mode are still being fleshed out, but when you're also creating items and events for monetary gain, when do you actually say that the game is properly, out? Use of "it's still in beta" should not be a shield that some developers could use to defend criticism of bugs, balance, etc. for a game that is, to all intents and purposes, released. And in turn, it's now something of a joke for players who are in a world where many of the popular games are self-classed as still in development. Clearly, with free-to-play titles, that confuses the issue. But once Dirty Bomb has core features in place, has a decent map rotation, and has the capacity to scale to more players, then I think it would be good for the game to announce that Dirty Bomb 1.0 is now available on Steam. As something of an aside, I got into Warframe for a while last year. I have about 300 hours under my belt. I couldn't believe the depth and content available for that game. There was so much to do, see, and unlock. After talking to veteran players, they said that Warframe had come a long way, that the levels of content, the learning curve, the pace of the game had all progressed since launch. Last time I checked, Warframe had a peak of almost 40,000 players every day on Steam alone. That's not bad for a game originally released 4 years ago. At the start of June 2017, it'll be 2 years since Dirty Bomb entered open beta. Player numbers have risen, fallen, and risen again in that time. And I know that Warframe and Dirty Bomb are vastly different games, but I look at the long-term success of that title and can't help hope for some of the same for Dirty Bomb. I'd love to hear your wishes for DB in 2017, so leave a comment below telling me what you hope is arriving this year. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting that subscribe button and pressing that thumb up as well. It really helps me out a lot. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at LCTRGames. There's a link in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.